Welcome back to the cuddly nerd corner that is Wednesdays with Finn. How y'all doing? Ordinarily, I do Bible history and then history, but today we're gonna switch it. I do this because today is actually a very important day in history and deserves top billing because it is a day of remembrance. For context, the year is 1944 and World War II is drawing to a close. The Nazis are not exactly happy about this development. You know, it's not the ending that they were going for. This is because by this point, Mother Russia has basically dope smacked all of Nazi Germany out of Eastern Europe. Pretty much all the Nazis were not okay with this, but especially Heinrich Himmler. Y'all have heard of Heinrich Himmler, right? Like the architect of the final solution? Yeah, that guy. Anyway, Himmler sees all these Russians coming and he's like, oh snap, I gotta hide my concentration camps. This could be an issue. Himmler gave the order to have the concentration camps cleared and to have any paperwork that could implicate Nazis destroyed. As the Soviets continued to march forward, more and more people were led off into the forests of Germany, never to be seen again. Praise be to God, Himmler and his men were not quite fast enough. On this day, January the 27th of 1945, the Soviets liberated the camp at Auschwitz. What they found were 7,000 prisoners and over 600 corpses murdered by the guards minutes before they arrived. Of the 6 million Jews who died in the Holocaust, 1.1 million died at Auschwitz. Today we mourn this incredible loss of life, and we thank God for the liberation. Speaking of Jewish liberation from foreign powers, that was a flawless segue. Today we're going to be in Judges chapter 3. We're going to be looking at the story of Ehud? I don't know. Whichever way you slice it, we begin in Israel. We are now at the beginning of that cycle of Israel going like, hey God, what if we just didn't worship you and instead worship foreign gods? Wouldn't that be hilarious? And God's over here like, you know what else is hilarious? Occupation. Try that on for size. So, God strengthens this guy named Eglon. He's the king of Moab, you know that nation that was founded by incest? That's a whole different story. Anyway, so they're in the hands of Moab, right? Israel is not feeling Moab, okay? They're just sitting here like, God! Save us, Lord! God's sitting over here like, well, it's looking like this generation at least has learned its lesson. So, hey, you, Ehud, that guy, come up here. Here's some really fun tidbits about Ehud. First off, his name means praise, like I will give praise. His father's name was Gera, which, okay, the literal translation means to chew the cud, which is not the most flattering picture, but it can also mean to meditate. So, you know, you're chewing on the cud of the word. So, from meditation comes praise, and from praise comes deliverance. Like, it's so cool. Anyway, back to Ehud. Ehud gets sent to Eglon with, like, gifts and stuff, and Eglon's like, ah, yeah, gifts. And Ehud's like, oh, yeah, I got a gift for you, all right, my friend. Bro, I cannot believe this next part actually worked. Like, only with God. Ehud leans into Eglon, and he's like, hey, yo, come here. I got a secret for you. Eglon's like, oh, a secret? Let me just send out everyone who could plausibly protect me from this rune so we're just alone. Seriously, how do men live as long as they do? Eglon is like leaning in like, oh, what is the secret? Do tell me, Ehud. Ehud looks at Eglon and says, I have a message for you from God, and then just stabs him, and it's awesome. I love the Bible. You might be asking yourself, does Eglon just not have any palace security? And a fun fact about that, at this point in history, I guess that they just didn't recognize left-handedness as a thing because, like, they only checked this side of his body, this left leg, for weapons because they're like, ah, yeah, he's not gonna hide weapons anywhere else. That would be inconceivable. Idiots. And if that weren't bad enough, Eglon was so dadgum fat that they couldn't even, like, it was literally impossible to pull the sword back out of him because his fat swallowed it. Like, it just disappeared like, shoop! Like, this man was straight up Jabba the Hutt. Oh my goodness. And to add even greater hilarity to this story, Ehud is just sitting here looking at the murdered Eglon like, well, I can't leave the way I came in. So he just straight Batmans his way out of this palace. And meanwhile, all of Eglon's servants are just waiting outside the door like, my lord? My lord. The actual Bible says that they waited outside this door to the point of embarrassment, which means they're just sitting there like, I think we should probably, someone should check on him. Meanwhile, Ehud's just in the hills, like, talking to his kinsmen, like, hey, you guys, want to take Moab? And everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna take Moab. And that is how Israel was freed from Moab. We're gonna stop there because this video is already getting way too long, but you guys should just drop in the comments what you want me to cover next week. And I hope you have an excellent week. Bye!